Well, I was plumb sick of that Santa Fe Trail, even just thinking about it. There I was thinking about what am I going to do next? Do I want to spend the rest of my life in this blacksmith shop right here, pounding on me, making horseshoes for animals I'll never see, for people I'll never see again? Do I want to keep doing that for another day? Nope. So I locked the door and put a sign on the window that said, "Gone fishing." I was going to be gone for a while. Well, I jumped on my pony, took my fishing gear, and I put the old family flintlock on my back, and I was headed down that trail. And boy, was I happy. I was not banging on steel. That sound that would just get so monotonous, bang, 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 and the ringing in my ears. I was going to a little lake that's known to nobody but me. Way, way back in the darkest and the deepest part of the Missouri Ozarks. And it took me a while to get there. I don't know if I'm the only one that knew about it, but I kept telling myself that lake is mine. Oh, but I never saw anybody else there. In a couple of days I was there, and I realized that I was seeing some other tracks on the ground, and the sheriff came out. "What are you doing in the backwoods, Sheriff?" He said, "Well, got bad news for everybody. I'm going to have to get back down to town there and give them the bad news of what's happened. A double murderer. He's a real scum-sucking pig, let me tell you. Has escaped custody in Sedalia. And I want you to know that scum-sucking pig is supposed to be offensive, and I think it does it. But it doesn't begin to describe the horrible thing that this guy has done. I'm just walking around the woods here, and I'm looking for tracks for him, anyone, to keep him out of the town, our little town. All right, but I wish you the best, Sheriff. Of course, he was a good guy. He was a hard-working guy. Well, I started fishing on the very first cast. Boom! I got myself a catfish. And say, nobody else fishes it except me. I got myself a catch about like that. Boy, I filleted that thing, got it on a skillet right there on the campfire, and the sun was getting kind of low in the west there. And I thought, this is wonderful. Oh man, is this good? And the aroma of the campfires and the aroma of the sizzling flesh that I put on there in that skillet. This is just beyond heaven. Thank you. Well, I heard a bit of a rustle in the woods there. Uh-oh, a double murderer? No. And I looked to my left, and what I saw was the ugliest, scraggliest bear that you could ever imagine. He looked like he had been around the block many, many times, and boy, I was ready for him. This is a 50 caliber. This thing is 50 caliber. It looked like a rather Grace-Isle gun. Oh, it is. It's a real beauty, left over from the Rev War. And boy, I needed some help with that critter. He was coming to me because he was smelling that fish too. He could smell it, and he liked the aroma, and I didn't like him coming. I go, here he came. Boom! I hit him right between the eyes, and he just flopped dead. He never moved. Well, I wanted to make sure that he was dead. You don't want to make that mistake, because that bear is one big guy, probably about as big as that guy that escaped custody there in Sedalia. So I approached him. And his head, thunk on his head. Folks, he was dead. And I had a big knife, and I was about to invite him to supper. So I did. You ever skin a bear? There are certain ways to do it. My dad taught me how to do it, and boy, it takes some muscle to pull that hide off of there. You have to keep reaching back around and cutting it off without cutting the hide itself, and pull it and pull and pull. That hide would bring $10 in Sedalia. $10. Can you imagine that? Then there was the meat. I had to get it cooked and dried the best I possibly could before it would spoil, before I would get it back down the mountain there. So I cut off some great big chunks of it. Oh, this was wonderful. I put it by the fire with steaks like that. First, I got to get it dry. That's the most important thing, because I was going to get fed that night. That dead fish in there was going to invite me to dinner. All right, things are looking good. The sun was sinking. The sun was sinking, and the shadows were getting long. And I saw off to my left a bit of a movement there. And I didn't see exactly what it was. I wasn't quite sure if I should panic or break down in tears. And there was another movement from a tree to a tree. Now, if he was a friend, he would walk right up to the fire and say, well, come on, join me for supper, friend. But this was very cautious. And I remember the description that the sheriff gave me of this homicidal fiend wearing a black stocking cap, a white shirt, filthy. Get close enough to him, he's got days of food kicked in his beard, and he was just become disgusting. A murderous fiend, we've got to get him. So I watched again, one tree to the next. I thought, well, I can play that game. So I did the same thing until he was behind a tree, and I got behind a tree there. I got behind the tree. I didn't notice if he noticed that I did the same thing, but he was trying to be kind of secretive about my gun. Oh, I forgot to reload it. You ever reload a muzzle loader? No, anybody do that? Bet you guys have. Never have? If you're lucky, you can take 3 shots a minute, but that's out there in the open. Bad guy's over there. He's wearing a black stocking cap. He's wearing a white shirt. It's filthy. He must be that scum-sucking pig, and I know what he wants. My mind is starting to click like this. My heart was just pounding inside my chest, and I know what he wants. I know exactly what he wants. He wants that food. He's probably starving to death, and he wants my horse, and he wants that gun. Even though I've got the gunpowder, so what? What can I possibly do? So I realized that something that my father told me. He said, weapons are where you find them. And where do you find them? Everywhere. Well, I know of one weapon that's completely useless. It's that flintlock right there. There's no way I could run in and grab it and quickly load it. He would be at my throat. He's much bigger than I was. I knew definitely that was Tony Newcomb, the escaped homicidal fiend. I think my father's words were still there. My father's words. Of course. My fishing tackle. What did I have in here? You ever heard of them? Treble hooks. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with them, but I remember my father said, where do you find weapons? Everywhere with that little hat. Those things are nasty. So I opened it up and I saw, huh? All right. I stayed behind a tree. It was really getting dark now. I pulled out a big old treble hook like this, and I had to be so careful. You don't want any of those things. Even just one of them slightly digging into your flesh, you never get it out without slicing your finger off or way into the bone. And so I kept going. I put a little line on it like that, on my shoulder, then another one, and I had 4 of them. I had 4 of those treble hooks there. Now what am I going to do? So I put one of it off. I got it swinging. Yeah, this is nice and heavy. Here we go. Now here, So he sneaked up to another tree, like right where that post is. That was about like that. And he stepped out. He was gonna try to get a little closer. And I got that thing, swinging back and forth like this. And I let it go and missed him. Now what? I've got to swinging back and forth like this. Then he stepped out and he saw me and I got him. And then, boy, that thing sank into one of his arms and he howled. He didn't know what was on. He couldn't see it. It was dark out. He was howling like a fiend, like the fiend that he was. And I wrapped it around the bush right here, over here. And he probably thought he was a snake, but how was the snake's going to get way up here? No, I got the next one going like this. And he could still move around. He moved in this direction and that direction, but he'd reach the end of it and then he would back and forth. Hey, buddy, hey, come get me, huh? He got him again. All right, right into this in the side on the left side near his ribs. Then here came another one. And this is number 3. Hey, Tony Newcomb, I know of you. Yeah, and got him again. And there he was. He's getting to where he couldn't move any direction with those awful treble hooks just to pulling on his flesh like that. And he went around to the far side, all the way to the far side. And this is about the only way that he would be able to move is on this side. And I got him again, and I wrapped him around a bit of a sapling right there. And I knew that he was not going to be able to do much of anything. He's not going to take me. He's not going to take my horse. He's not going to take my gun. And I'm not inviting him to supper, hungry as he may be. Well, all he could do was whimper. Poor guy. After what I heard from him, I didn't feel sorry for double murderer Tony Newcomb from Sedalia Jail. Well, I very casually got on my horse and took off at a gallop right down into our little town of Buffalo, Missouri. I told the sheriff, I said, "You're looking for Tony Newcomb?" "Yeah. Did you see him?" "Yeah, yes, Sheriff, you might say that I saw him." "Well, where is he?" "Oh, he's tied up right now, back in there, by that lake there." "He's going to get a wetting." "No, he's not. He's got a lot of patience. He's waiting for us." "Well, let's go." We took off out of there. A few hours later, we came up on that lake, and he was on his knees, and he was a bloody mess. He was whimpering. He was just begging to be cut down and taken into a jail anywhere like that. And one of them was in the right buttocks around here. Well, it took another horse in order to be able to throw his body over the hill. He was still alive, and he wasn't very happy about being alive. So put him on the back of that horse and sat him down. Can you imagine sitting on a deeply rooted treble hook in your posterior? And oh, did he howl. Well, we took off down there at a snail's pace. We were not in a hurry. He was. And yes, there was a doctor in the little town of Buffalo, Missouri. Well, we got him into town and into jail and had a hard time finding old Doc, what's his name? Yeah, the doc. He was probably drunk again. We finally got him in there, slapped him around, tried to sober him up a little, get him. Well, all right, we got him into the jail there. Sat down next to him, and he just shook his head. That couldn't happen to a nicer guy. That went down in Missouri history in absolutely not one single book. Weapons are where you find them. And where do you find them? Everywhere. Treble hooks, terror of the Ozarks. Thank you, folks. I read for little accounts like that. And when I come up with something that can be adapted into a story, whether it's kind of the two serious ones I told earlier, this was a little on the frivolous side, but boy, is it fun to do. See the bad guys lose in pain. Thank you. It was really good.